If you have been paying attention to the latest running news, you'd have noticed how well women are performing in truly long-distance events. Now, I'm not talking about marathons or 50 milers, but instead, those races in which the last person standing wins, such as the Barkley Marathons, super long-distance events, such as Moab 240, or multi-day challenges. Recently, Courtney Dauwalter won Moab 240, and Jasmine Paris won the Barkley Marathons. These are the hardest endurance events on the face of Earth. But is this just a fluke? Are they themselves superior? Or is the female physiology designed to perform better than male physiology in these endurance events? Well, this video is looking to find that out. Hey my beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Susie and this is I Run Things, and this channel is all about running. So if you want to geek out with me, please consider subscribing. Today I'm going to talk about sex differences in endurance running, and for that I am going to turn to scientific evidence. All of the links will be below in case you want to go down the rabbit hole even deeper. Okay, let's start. In terms of running economy, men and women's bodies appear to be pretty similar. In pretty much every other aspect of our physiology though, we couldn't be any more different. For starters, women's biomechanics are different. We have greater non-sagittal hip and knee joint motion as compared to men. That is explained by the fact that we have wider pelvis. And this is because we are the ones who give birth. Women also have a greater area of type 1 muscle fibers, which are more able to use fat and preserve glycogen stores, aka carbs, during prolonged exercise. And that makes us more resistant to fatigue. These are two key differences that should give women an advantage in endurance events, right? Now, let's take one step back and focus for a minute on the actual data of male versus female participation in running events. According to a survey by runrepeat.com, female participation in all races reached 50% in 2018, but female participation in true long-distance events is still much lower. In trail running, it sits at 26%, and in ultra-trail events is even lower than that, at approximately 10%. And yet, despite the lower participation rate of females, ultra-distance in running is one of those rare disciplines where women are able to outperform men, sometimes. As you can see in this schematic representation of a female runner, where the parameters that give an advantage to females are boxed in orange, women are more metabolically flexible, present a higher capillarization, and possess a higher percentage of type 1 fibers, the ones I mentioned before that process fatty acids, not carbohydrates, as fuel. Numerous studies have proven that females are better at utilizing fatty acids as fuel, while males use more carbohydrates and protein. As a matter of fact, on a very recent study conducted in 157 men and 143 women, on an incremental treadmill run test to exhaustion, the study showed that women displayed higher maximal rates of fat oxidation. Furthermore, they displayed higher fat oxidation at equal VO2 max when compared to men, which is also an advantage. Similarly, although both sexes used a small percentage of protein as energy source, men used a larger percentage, which again would be an advantage for females during ultra-endurance exercise. Another important factor in ultra-endurance events is thermoregulation. Because women have smaller bodies, they generate less heat as well as less sweat. And as such, the amount of fuel required to maintain our bodies properly hydrated and balance the temperature is attenuated. Now, I would like to point out that since hydration guidelines have been developed using male data, one should only conclude that women need to adjust those guidelines, especially since overhydration induces gastrointestinal distress. And if you want to see someone go through it, watch my video up here from One Glass Marathon. What about recovery? Is recovery different for men and women? We all know endurance running races induce metabolic stress and muscle damage. The recovery process involves edema, inflammation, and soreness. There's only been one study that has addressed these in humans via muscle biopsies, which revealed that 6 days after an ultra race, there was no sex difference in muscle damage. Yet, there was an attenuated inflammatory response in females as compared to males. Females should thank estrogen for this, as estrogen reduces inflammation, protects against oxidative damage, and speeds up muscle repair processes. Now, since this is the only study in which both men and women's muscles were literally put under the microscope, there's a lack of knowledge about what happens during these 6 days that biopsies weren't performed. As with anything else science-related, there needs to be more studies that include female athletes in research. Right now, there are not very many, but the ones that have been conducted prove that women are different from men. Now, the majority of training plans, fueling protocols are based on male data. And because of that, it's hard for women to find out what works and doesn't work for them. And conclusions are many times reached by trial and error. Maybe that's why Camille Herron, Jasmine Paris, and Courtney Dauwalter train by feel and don't follow a structured approach. Now, what do you think? Does all these make sense? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Give this video a like, subscribe on my face, and watch these 2 other videos next. Run fearless, you guys. Ding!